Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting week of Staying Up with Pat and Jodi. Once again from our palatial studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, overlooking the Las Vegas Strip.
Yes. 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 Overlooking the Las Vegas Strip. Good evening, good day, whatever you
well,
people
they could
out
be
there
listening at any point. This could be 2 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon,
yes,
whatever.
It could be. You could be listening as you jog and run, whatever.
It's not like the old days of KIEV when we used to have to do it at midnight on Sundays.
Oh my gosh!
And you had the 4 people listening. You know.
Yeah. No, we didn't actually. No. I take it back. We never had 4 people listening. If you remember, what was that other radio station? The big one, Oh God, what was the one? John and Ken are on.
I forget which one.
But you know, the big one in LA, they actually switched to a live person because we gave them the run for their money.
That's
the
right.
Staying Up with Pat and Jodi show, by the way.
We actually pulled some numbers.
I'm Jodi.
You are?
Yes, you are.
I could be Jodi, and you could be Buffy.
I could be. By the way, Pat, I have some bad news.
Did that reference age us a little?
Oh,
Like the younger folks the younger folks aren't really listening to this, but if they were, they'd go, Jodi, who the hell's Jodi and Buffy?
Buffy and Jodi.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer
was Buffy, Jodi, Mr. French.
Mr. French.
That just sounds so dirty to me. Mr. French.
You let a guy named Mr. French watch after your kid?
Mr. French.
If there was pedophilia going on, it was going to be with a guy named Mr. French.
I'm telling you.
Come on.
And then don't forget the uncle was Uncle Bill.
Uncle Bill.
Not like Uncle Paul. Uncle Bill.
Exactly.
Yes, we're talking about the TV show Family Affair, in case you guys missed it. Yeah,
that's when I was a little baby child.
Yes, you were.
And you were.
I wasn't even born yet.
You were like a teenager.
I saw the reruns.
Yeah,
okay, let me just tell you.
Hey, look, I remember Little Rascals, and we've talked about this before, and I Love Lucy and all that. All that stuff was done years before I was ever born.
That's right.
A lot of these old TV shows, because it's our generation got to be one of the first with syndication.
Yeah, yeah. Our syndication when we were kids, we
was
used
all
to
the old
see
shows,
all the the Little Rascals and the the Gilligan's Islands,
Three Stooges.
Yeah, the Three Stooges.
I Love Lucy,
Laurel and Hardy.
Laurel
my gosh,
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, that was our generation's.
Yeah.
Reruns.
Because when those first came on, you had to go into, other than I Love Lucy, which was actually aired on TV, and The Honeymooners was actually aired on TV.
Yeah, The Honeymooners is another show.
But that was back in the 50s.
Great show. Great.
A lot of those other stuff, the Abbott and Costellos, Three Stooges, the Little Rascals, those are all people had to go into theaters and watch those. They were shorts.
Yes.
And they'd have to pay 10 cents to go in and pay them. This is pre our parents. I mean, even this is before our parents were even born. So,
and now the kids they're watching things like
on their phone.
Well, yeah, but they're watching their reruns are Seinfeld. Seinfeld is the rerun.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
Or what's another one? Maybe Roseanne.
Maybe. Friends is a big one that's in syndication for some of the younger folks.
Yep.
The Cosby Show was. No, not so much.
No, he's in a lot of trouble. But you mentioned Little Rascals, and I just want to let you know that we just lost one of the original R gang members.
Wow, there can't be many left.
This lady was 93 years old.
God bless her.
She's an original not a Little Rascal, because it was R gang, and then they became the Little Rascals. She is the last original R gang member. Her name was Jean Darling, and you'd know what she looked like if you saw pictures. She was on with oh gosh, not Chubby, but she was on with the Jackie Cooper.
Yeah, Chubsy
Ubsy.
Yeah, the first one.
She was in the very first.
The first class, there were several different groups that ran through there.
She was 4 years old, and she was in 46 of the R Gang comedy shorts. So 4 years old and 46 of them. She was in 46 of the shows. Yeah, but yes, you were right. There have been lots of reincarnations in that period. Like Robert Blake was a Little Rascal.
He was.
Robert Blake.
He was.
Spanky McFarland, Alfalfa, you had the Chubsy Ubsy, very famous. No matter how old you are, if you watch the original Superman with Christopher Reeves, the movie Christopher Reeve, the guy who played Perry White was Jackie Cooper, and he was in love with Miss Crabtree.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
the whole episode. With you don't have to call me Norman, call me Chubsy Ubsy.
Yeah,
Jackie Cooper, that was his name. So The Little Rascals are, then they tried to reincarnate them in a movie, and it just didn't work.
It doesn't work
the same.
because the period is different. A lot of that stuff worked because it was the 30s and 40s, and culturally it made sense. But when they tried to redo it in the 90s, and it just wasn't there.
Well, if you remember,
because it doesn't translate 90s sensibilities for a 1940s or 1930s concept.
Well, if you remember, Bill Cosby thought the whole stymie and buckwheat thing was very racist.
He bought out of it and didn't let anybody watch it. It's like that's the thing is, and now look at him who,
right.
He's got a few other problems to worry about. But the thing is that's how people were in the 30s and 40s.
Yes.
That was not, you can look back and say, well, it's still racist, but nobody back then was saying this is racist.
No. With the kid in the back of the car sitting in the tire.
It kind of falls back to, trying to use modern sensibilities for, 80-year-old content or 100-year, looking back and saying, how could these people ever have done this? You could say that because you grew up knowing better, but they were that generation was taught much differently. Mm-hmm. So what they were taught what was right was completely different from what we were taught what was right, and for what we see, we understand it, we get it better.
Right, absolutely. And another person who had passed away, and again, this goes back to when we were very young, was, do you remember Sock It To Me? Sock it to me.
Sock it to me.
Sock it to me. And then you would get like water thrown in your face or something.
Okay.
Well, Judy Carn. Remember Judy Carn?
Yeah.
She started out with Goldie Hawn and The Laugh-In Show.
Mm-hmm.
She was 76 years old and just died today. On this 8th of September, we're filming and recording Staying Up with Pat and Jodi. But remember Judy Carn? She was huge. You know who she was married to?
Who?
Burt Reynolds.
No way.
Yes, she was Burt Reynolds' wife before Lonnie Anderson.
How many? I wonder how many wives Burt Reynolds has had.
Burt didn't have a lot of wives,
really?
Actually. I think he was only married to 2 or 3 women. He married
only
Judy
2 or 3. That's
I
it.
say Judy Carn, Lonnie Anderson. That's
okay.
That's
so he was otherwise he was just banging them left
and
right.
He was banging. If anybody was banging girls,
let me tell you something.
Bam, bam. Thank you, man. He was the guy.
A stud back then. He was a stud.
Sure.
He was a stud.
Do you remember didn't you tell me your mother had the Cosmo with the remember he was the first guy to pose as a centerfold in Cosmo?
with a baseball mitt or something in front of his junk.
I have no idea.
And he was as hairy as Bigfoot. It's like, boy, the times have changed, It's like, nude or not, you can't see much. He's covered in hair.
Absolutely.
He looked like Sasquatch.
He did. And
that was sexy in the 70s, I guess.
Well, some women think it's sexy now. It doesn't turn me on. I don't like a big hairy guy.
Yeah,
I don't know. You just shaved your chest, but when you rub up against me, I feel all the prickly stuff.
I got prickly stuff for you.
It's like when you guys shave your chest hair and then it takes the stubble grows out. It's like stubbly.
Like the face.
No, yeah, but it's on your. No, you're clean today. But it's on your chest. It's on your chest, and it just when you rub up against somebody, it's just like I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. No, I don't think anybody
wanted to hear
grooming.
Has
I don't
been
think
brought
anybody
to you
wanted
by...
to hear about that. I don't think anybody wanted to hear about that.
But
that
Pat,
whole process.
Did you miss the old Labor Day? This is the first year we didn't have a Labor Day in some form, a Labor Day telethon for MDA.
I got to be honest, I didn't miss it because I haven't watched it in years.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about this. It has steadily gone down from being the 24/7, 3 days of straight television, with the goofy people juggling at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And Polly's prancing poodles.
Yeah, and all these crazy acts getting on and stuff like that, to where it was just a couple of hours, a couple of days, and then it just kind of disappeared. I mean, I think really it's because the generations that followed that were no longer really part of it. We grew up with it as kids. We all sat around and watched it when we were kids.
We all did, absolutely.
But I think that kind of faded away.
But don't you think there's room
Jerry got older?
Don't you think there's room though for a new kind of talent? I mean, don't you think we can still pull that kind of stuff off?
Here's the challenge with it. It's really tough to put those together because of the cost of producing it. Think about the cost of producing 72 hours of live programming, all the people, equipment, airtime. So much has to get donated. It just becomes, and you would think, well, all these new channels, but they want it on a major network. Networks, they just aren't willing to give up that time anymore. So it's very challenging, and there's so many other ways to raise money now. There really are, to reach a worldwide audience, not just nationwide, but a worldwide audience. You can reach them, via the internet.
Well, look at the Ice Bucket Challenge. I mean, that raised a lot of money for ALS. I mean,
and a lot of awareness, and some people, it's this, it was for a good cause, and it raised money for for research. And ALS is a mother of a disease. It really, somebody. It's really deteriorating, and it's no way to go out.
Isn't that
it's
how
a horrible thing?
Annette Funicello passed away? I think so. I know your friend Matt's wife passed away that way. It was very hard.
And it's very tough. It's not easy watching people deteriorate, and that's a really just nasty, nasty disease, and you really have to hope that they can find a cure for this. They found a cure for almost everything else, Let's hope that they can work on that one.
But I miss the old Labor Day telethons. Like, and back in the day, Frank Sinatra would come on drunk at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, you had those. You
just never knew who was going to show up.
You had these icons of entertainment.
Sammy, Charo, they're coming back.
Charo?
Charo? What's her name? Charo, yeah. Charo. All right, Coochie, right? That's her.
Coochie.
Charo. I don't know. I'm not Spanish. You are. How do you say it?
Charo. Or Charo.
But then you had Lola Falana.
Wow, you're really aging yourself now. You're talking about Frank Sinatra and Lola Falana. And wow, people thinking, what is she, like 80?
Oh my God.
Holy shit,
Lola
she looks
Falana.
great. She looks great for 80.
Do. I look great. I look at least 47.
It's right.
40.
Wow.
Woo, you can't see me.
You can't see me.
No, but those were great. Late at night, I used to remember my parents. Oh my God, did you see that Frank Sinatra showed up with Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.?
Yeah, they came on there all the time. They were buddies. I mean, Jerry Lewis, he was good buddies.
He's the last of the little Rascals.
He's the last. But he was. People don't remember that when Jerry and Dean were together, Jerry was like 13 or so years younger. 13? No, 13 years younger than Dean Martin.
He was like 17, he 18, was like right?
Well, they started when he was like 17, and Dean Martin was like in his 30s.
Wow.
Early 30s. So there was a big age gap there. So and now, I mean, Jerry Lewis, I think, is in his 80s now.
Yeah, he's definitely pushing up there. Well, yeah, we miss them. But just want to let you guys know that the Milwaukee Lion, he's gone. We don't even know. That whole summer story, because now it's the end of summer, with this Milwaukee Lion thing, nobody has caught the lion in Milwaukee. However, that dentist that shot that lion, Cecil the lion, well, he came to work today. He's back at work. So maybe we send him to Milwaukee. To find the lion.
No, he didn't have any. He paid people to find a lion, so he ain't going to be able to do it himself.
Well, the lion has a Twitter, by the way.
First of all, the lion that whole thing, I'll guarantee you, is a big just. It's a ruse, man.
It's a ruse. I don't know.
It's a ruse. Somebody took shots of lion and threw it up there.
All summer? This lion thing's been going on all summer.
Yeah, because somebody's pulling that. Why else do you think it has its own Twitter account?
It does. It's Milwaukee and then _lion on Twitter. In case any of you want to follow the Milwaukee Lion, the word Milwaukee _lion. My advice is that this dentist who came back to work today with a police escort, by the way, the police had to escort this dude to work. So our tax-paying dollars went to have an entourage protect this dentist.
So who was his first clients? You got to wonder who was the first person to go back. Hey, Doc, I know you've been in the news. Everybody hates you, but can you check out my teeth?
Lion,
He's still a good dentist, I guess.
I guess, but anyway, let's send him to Milwaukee and he'll find. So that's it. I'm done. Unless they find the lion, I am putting the Milwaukee Lion story to bed. So Milwaukee Lion.
Yeah, I've been calling BS on that for.
I thought it was real. It could have been real, But then a lady, she took her pet snake. This woman took her pet snake for a swim and it vanished somewhere in the lake. I don't know.
Okay, first of all, if you're taking your pet snake for a swim in a lake, you're an idiot. Okay, yeah, because it's going to go. Hey, look at this! I'm home.
It left,
and it's going to take off.
Snakes go in the water, correct?
Many snakes can, not all snakes, but obviously this was one that could. So if this snake is thinking, okay, I can go back to that little tank, or I can just swim the F off and have this whole lake to myself, what do you think the snake's going to do? He's telling the owner, go screw and he's going for a swim. He's going to go find himself some field mice and have a little lunch. You know what I'm saying? Right by the lake.
Well, I don't know. I don't know where this lake is. Sorry, but yeah, don't take your snakes to
Did it say
lakes.
what kind of snake it was?
No, I didn't get all that. I didn't get that far.
Wasn't
into
it like a giant anaconda or something like that?
Anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hon.
So do you think maybe it's going to start eating like small children or something? And
probably that'll be the next story. So if you see a snake in your lake,
it'll be like the alligator, the dumbass that let the alligator loose.
Oh my God, Reggie the alligator! I still think about that guy. Where was that park again? Harbor City.
Yeah, Harbor City. Yeah, it's basically right just before you get to the L.A.
Whatever happened to Reggie? Did they catch him?
They caught him,
and he's living in a zoo, right?
Yeah, it took him a while. And
he ate a lot of duck.
Yeah, he was eating ducks and all kinds of stuff because he was small, but it was like a sheriff or something like that had him as a pet. Again, people, why would you have an alligator as a pet? Do you realize how big they get? They're not cute little things that are going to stay in your little fish tank. Alligators can get, 20 feet long. They live to be like 100 years old.
Yeah, they do.
What the hell are you doing with an alligator? Cut it out.
Right.
Jeez Louise, these people are just dummies.
Whatever happened
then it gets too big, and what are we going to do? We're going to throw it in a park where kids swim.
Whatever happened to the good old days when people would come home with a dog or a cat?
Right? Just stick with, there's plenty of dogs and cats that need to be rescued. Go down. We're right down the street from the NSPCA.
We're right across the street.
Go down there. Go get yourself a wonderful dog or a cat. Don't get yourself an alligator. I also saw somebody post up a picture. Somebody had an owl as a pet. And had it in a bar or something like that, and it's like, hey, that's a cool pet. It's like, no, if you know anything about owls, worst pets ever.
Wow.
First of all, they
Owls.
have a screech. They have a screech that you can hear for miles. He takes a picture of it, and then you can hear for miles. So imagine how loud this screech is inside. They're also extremely aggressive. So anything that's the size of something it wants to eat, like those little puppies that The Rock has.
Yeah, we're just
I'm
just pulling it up for Pat right now. The Rock saved two of his puppies.
Yeah, because they jumped in the pool and one of them sank. So, so he jumped in and grabbed. But those two cute little puppies, would be eaten by your pet owl. He would fly off with that.
Really?
One of those and they're nasty.
Owl? That's crazy.
I don't know, because they think it's cool and they're cute when they're babies. Everything's cute when it's a baby. Okay,
even people.
They're nasty.
Even people
birds.
are cute when they're babies, and then until they grow up and they'd be just
they're just turning into assholes.
Yeah, so The Rock saved his puppy from two puppies from drowning. One puppy, from what I understand, the one puppy knew how to swim, did okay, but the second one just went right down.
Yeah,
so, of course, The Rock, he's wearing a white T-shirt, jumps in and saves his puppy from drowning. But, of course, he posts a photo on his Instagram, and there he is in a white T-shirt, looking
with his
pugs.
Puppies.
Yeah, I think they're pugs.
Little tiny pugs.
Little tiny pugs. So,
yeah.
Yep.
That's a nice big pool, too.
The Rock, you have a lot of money.
To live at The Rock's house, Does he need somebody to watch his house while he's working? Dog sit. We can hang out and watch the house.
You and The Rock can
We'll
work out.
hang out. We'll get workout buddies.
Together.
We can work out. Yeah, we can be workout buddies.
He's a nut. He's a machine.
He's in beast mode 24/7.
Oh, absolutely. So now that the new television season has sprung we have a new season, a new fall season. A lot of our political candidates are making their rounds on the talk shows, the various talk shows.
Really?
We've got Donald Trump showing up on Ellen and The Tonight Show, and Hillary's going to be on the show. So, what do you think, Pat, if you were Jimmy Fallon, about all this? What's going to happen on these?
You have them all on. I think you just have them all on and let the sparks fly, because as soon as one of them says anything, especially Donald, Donald Trump is going to say something divisive and piss people off, and you're going to get all kinds of attention for your show. Look what Donald Trump said on the Ellen that's going to be all over the place. It's great publicity. It's a very interesting race this year, even though we haven't heard a lot from the Democratic side.
Mm-hmm.
You hear Hillary and you hear a couple other, but
and
not
Joe
much.
Biden might be running now.
But you haven't heard
He has
much.
to ask his wife. I don't know about you, but if I'm looking for a political candidate who has to make a decision, I have to go home and ask my wife.
Get permission from
I have to get permission from my wife. Really?
That's right. You're the commander in chief, baby. You want to be the
You
commander
don't
in
ask
chief.
for permission from
Right.
nobody.
If I want to run for president, bitch, I'm running.
Bitch, I'm running. You know what? If I have to make an executive decision, this girl boss is getting it done.
That's right. Get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done.
So I'm really anxious, Pat, to see what the and I don't know the date of it offhand, but when Saturday Night Live will premiere.
Oh, yeah.
You know that
they're
going to
have
be
all
a
kinds of fun
field
with
day
that.
between the Trump, who's going to portray Trump, who's going to be Hillary, who's going to do, crazy, what's his name, Rand Paul with the wild hair. I mean, it's going to be Governor Christie.
I think they should have they should mix genres and instead of they should have a WWE style presidential debate and have them fight it out in the ring and knock the shit out of each other. And that's how they decide who gets the candidacy. And the winner fights against the Democratic candidates, and you just that's how you do it. And you just put it like a wrestling ring together. You'd have to have some younger actors play them because they'd have to be beating each other up. But I think that would be pretty funny.
Oh my God!
I'd watch that.
And they say I'm the crazy one when it comes to the wrestling. Let's see. Does it say
still be
when
a funny idea?
It looks like October 3rd.
October 3rd.
The busiest Saturday, by the way, in all of America. Everything's happening on October 3rd. They're like every person who wants to get married in Las Vegas is getting married on October 3rd. The WWE is showing a live event from Madison Square Garden on the WWE Network on October 3rd. SNL is coming out on October 3rd. Like, what is it with October 3rd? Pat and Jodi are celebrating an anniversary on
October 2nd.
On October 2nd.
That's the day before, but we ain't going to be able to do much.
So let's just call it October 3rd.
We'll be able to prep. We'll be prepping for that.
We'll be prepping on our day. So,
and did you know that Saturday Night Live premiered and
yeah, they just had the big 40th anniversary show. Remember, we saw all that?
1975. It's hard to believe.
Exactly.
I wasn't even born yet.
So, Pat, what do you think of this? You were too, liar. What do you think of this county clerk? This lady, this county clerk.
She's exactly where she needs to be, in jail. You get all the people that get pissed off. They're saying her religious rights have been violated. Bullshit. She has the ability. None of her religious rights have been violated. She decided that her religious beliefs needed to be pushed upon the general public, despite the fact that the law said different, despite the fact that she's in a position where she needed to enforce that law, and that was her job to do that. So she violated the law, and the law of the land supersedes any of the laws of your religion, regardless of what your religion is. So if you do not believe in same-sex marriage, do not be in a position where you have to issue licenses for same-sex couples. Go find another job. If you don't want to find another job, you better figure something out. And the thing is, the reason why she's in jail is not because of her beliefs. It's because she refused a court order. She was told by the court that she must issue these marriage licenses, and she refused to do so. So she broke the law. She broke the law, plain and simple, and she's trying to push her beliefs. And by the way, this is a woman who's been married 3 times.
Wow.
Children out of wedlock, all kinds of wonderful stuff.
And she's got her panties in a bunch over same-sex marriages?
Exactly. They're probably doing a lot better than she is as far as that goes. So she's not exactly following the she's not exactly going by the book, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
So, the hypocrisy with this woman is just ridiculous. And then all the people, there's no religious rights that are being taken away from her. If you don't believe in same-sex marriage, then don't marry people yourself, but the thing is you're in a position where that's what your job requires. If somebody comes to us and they're not, and by the way, there's also did you hear about the Muslim flight attendant that refused to serve alcohol because it was against her religion?
No.
Guess what you do? You fire her. Yeah, you know what? You just said we're not saying that if you don't want to drink alcohol, that's fine. You have no right to tell other people what they can or can't do. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are, let's say, a little too fanatical with their religions believe that this is my belief, so you have to live by my beliefs. Everybody has to follow these rules, which is ridiculous. And that's why you have, lunatics bombing buildings and all the shit that's happened throughout history, because you get people that believe that, well, this is right and this is how everybody should live. And, all those people can go screw. It's we have laws in our country. We follow those laws. If if we break those laws, there's repercussions. If you do not believe in a certain thing, then don't do it. But don't try to push it on other people.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's like us saying, you know what? We can't stand that chicken dance song, so we're not going to play it at your wedding.
Yeah.
Like, it's right? Would it be, like the person who says, or I hate Rihanna, or I hate LMFAO.
I'm not playing because I don't
so
like
I'm not going to do any of that. Or, you know what? I don't like this particular banquet hall, so you know what? I'm not going to work there.
Yeah, and that's fine. And then you decide that, and then when you go out of business, then that's the results, and it's not you're not being, just because you have religious freedoms doesn't mean it's just like freedom of speech. Freedom of speech does not mean, and freedom of speech and expression does not mean that you are free from repercussions. It means you're free from a punishment from the government. That means the government can't come in and arrest you because you said you don't like something the government's doing. But when you publicly let your opinion be known and people don't like those opinions or like your actions, they're going to respond to them. There's nothing in the law that says they can't do that. So, there are always going to be repercussions based upon how you act and what you do.
Absolutely.
So it's like, but they just, people don't understand it. Read the Constitution and read what the different amendments actually say, as opposed to just going, this is my bullshit.
Exactly. Ashley Madison news. Pat. Ashley Madison account passwords are even dumber than you expected.
Nice.
Yes. So I guess, gentlemen of the internet, it's 2015. You know never to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or the word password or anything similarly dumb when you log into anything, right? Well, I guess apparently not, because the top 20 passwords, stupid passwords are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's a password with the name password.
It's just password, yeah. The password.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is QWERTY?
QWERTY.
Oh, okay. What does that mean? QWERTY?
I have to look it up.
Oh, okay.
That's what Google is for.
Okay.
So you look up.
Well, the number 6 word. Are you? Listen to some. These are Ashley Madison words. PUSSY was an.
I'm so pussy.
Yes. The word, just like really, I'm surprised nobody used the word Ashley, because they came up with secret, dragon, welcome, ginger, sparky, help me. Here's my favorite one: blowjob.
Okay.
Blowjob is an actual password.
QWERTY is the most common modern day keyboard layout for Latin script. The name comes from reading the first 6. It's basically QWERTY if you look on your keyboard.
Okay.
So they just went and went.
But look at this one, number 13.
Blowjob.
I know. And
Nicole
Justin
Camaro. Yeah. Yamaha,
midnight. But, our passwords have to be easy for us to remember. But
so blowjob's easy to remember.
Blowjobs, bite me.
Why am I here? I want a blowjob. Why am I here? I want some pussy. So
so apparently, like when you, passwords. I went to a seminar once where they telling you always have to change your password. Like every so many weeks, you have to change your password. It's so hard to remember, though.
And you know how many different passwords you have, different accounts. You have. You could literally. In modern time, if you think about all the stuff, it could be hundreds of passwords that you have.
And I know there are apps. Don't write me and tell me there are apps that can remember your password. What happens if that gets hacked?
Yeah, then they get all
of them. They get them all. You know what somebody told me? Go buy yourself an old-fashioned notebook, like an address book.
Yeah.
Write your passwords in that and then put it in a safe.
Yeah.
Seriously. Lock it up in a safe.
Cross it out and write the new one in.
Exactly.
Because that's sometimes analog is best.
Yeah,
sometimes analog is best.
Yep. So that's the latest on Ashley Madison. A lot of people are getting busted on Ashley Madison. But I also heard stories where Ashley Madison is actually being skyrocketing. Like there are people that are still going on.
They're signing up. They're doing well.
Signing up. I guess it's okay. The wife says it's okay.
I don't get it. Maybe it's a lot of swingers that are going on there. Who knows? Maybe it's a swingers hangout.
I guess what? I guess.
And they're like, I know. We're both on there. So,
Well, the WWE has.
Can you imagine Can you imagine if the list comes out and both people in the find out that the other person is on there and they didn't realize it?
And they hooked up.
And they tried.
They meet for a hookup, like the Pina Colada song.
Hey,
if you like Pina Colada.
Wow, she does all the things. She likes all the things that I like. It's just so familiar. So
it's the Pina Colada song, Pat. You like Pina Coladas getting caught in the rain. All right.
Anyway, enough Ashley Madison.
You got to be careful about what you guys post nowadays on social media. Take it from me.
Oh yeah.
I've learned that lesson. If some of you guys know me.
Yeah. Don't need to repeat.
I am not going to tell the story, but yes, be careful about what you post on your social media. And if you are posting things, please make sure that you are set to private if you don't want stalkers to find you.
Yes.
I guess apparently one of the WWE divas has been released because of her social media posts.
Whoops.
And now the WWE has issued a warning to future WWE superstars. By the way, World Wrestling Entertainment, you guys should know that if you listen to the show. But yeah, so I guess apparently one of their Zahara, one of their upcoming divas, who by the way is the girlfriend to the current WWE champion Seth Rollins, had taken in 2012. This is a few Instagram shots back in 2012, by the way.
3 years ago, guys. Shit catches up to you.
Where I guess she was posing, as you see all the divas, they all pose. They take a lot of selfies of themselves in mirrors and things like that. Well, I guess she was taking one in her old bedroom, and I guess there was a poster of a swastika on a My Little Pretty Little Pony poster she had in her room, and it got her in a lot of trouble. And apparently it wasn't the first time she had a few swastikas in here in photos. And
wow, so a little well, you know, at least we know what she's all about now. We know a little white supremacy in her.
Well, she posted something saying that she apologized to everybody who was offended by her posts. She's not an anti-Semite. That if you would have looked deeper into her posts, you would have also noticed a photo of Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich was a Polish actress who opposed Nazism and fought for the oppressed during World War II. To me, the photos and relics were nothing more than a story. So she's like saying, it's not,
In other words, she's a dumbass, and she was putting up pictures and in the background that just, got her in trouble. She didn't think. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
she didn't think.
So now they're going back. The WWE is, like I said, is going back and is asking all their superstars to just be a little bit more aware of what you post, and if you have anything like that in your history, to take it down. And I'm sure that we all have something. I mentioned something just a few minutes ago. It's gone. You can't find it. But yeah, you just got to watch out what you post and who's going to read it.
Exactly.
So.
Now there's another wrestler that's in trouble, but this goes even further back. This isn't from 3 years ago. This is a situation from 32 years ago. And apparently Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and a lot of people who have been who've known or been around the wrestling industry for a number of years have all heard the story. Oh. And it's all been rumors that he accidentally killed his girlfriend. They know that this happened
in a hotel room in Pennsylvania.
So apparently the police and district attorney said that they could not prosecute Jimmy Snuka, but Nancy Argentino's family.
That's the fiance girlfriend.
That's the girlfriend. Refused to let it go. So in 1983, they hired Richard Cushing. So again, this goes back decades.
I remember let me tell you, as you're looking that over, I remember this story. I was a big wrestling fan back then, and I remember when it first came out, and I remember Vince McMahon, a young Vince McMahon, interviewing Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Who remembers this out there? You know you guys do. If your Big Daddy probably remembers this. In an empty arena. Even Morgan, I bet you Morgan Dollar remembers this. In an empty arena, just Jimmy Snuka and Vince McMahon sitting in the stands, and Vince McMahon asked him questions about like this. And you could see that Snuka was visibly very upset by the whole situation. And, it was just I mean, I don't remember verbatim word for word, but I just remember them addressing this problem. And that was 32 years ago.
Well, and apparently it's his fiance's family that have been pursuing this for the last 32 years, and they're the ones that have really managed to get the ball rolling on this. But it's it's going to be hard 32 years later to prove something like this, because I mean, what evidence do you have? And what
But apparently they have enough evidence to charge him with it because they did arrest him. He's out on bail. The WWE has replaced him, taken him off the website. They have also taken off his image. If you see the opening of their Monday Night Raws, that opening then, now, and forever. Yeah. They replaced him with a photo of Dusty Rhodes and Rowdy Roddy Piper. So anything that was snooker related in those openings that you watch are gone. Are gone. So it's sad. He is a WWE legend, but I remember when this came out. It was big news.
Yeah, and so now we have two legends that for completely different reasons that have been pulled off the face of the WWE, but two legendary guys, legends, and they're both Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
and guys that are always going to be a part of the industry and the history of the sport, or it's hard to call it a sport. It's more entertainment. But man, how do you just try to erase all that? Because everybody's known about this whole situation for decades. They knew
the snooker thing.
The snooker thing, yeah. They knew for decades. They knew what had happened. And it's like now, now that they're actually going to charge him, we have to take him off. Because we're worried about public. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with sponsor issues. They don't want to be related to that because sponsors are totally
it's a different company than what it used to be. I mean, it's very much it's public traded. It's a publicly traded company. It's on the stock exchange.
And there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of sponsors that are family related businesses that don't want to be related to any of that. I mean, it's like, look at the shit that Subway's going through now with Jared. I mean, those are repercussions that they're going to be dealing with for years.
Now you see a Subway commercial and there's no hint of Jared whatsoever.
I mean,
he's pretty much he's gone. And look what they did to the Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel. They got a new Colonel because the last Colonel, they felt the people thought he was too creepy, licking his fingers on TV.
Yeah, they had him play it creepy. And the thing is that it wasn't the actor's fault. It was the director's and the producer's fault because that's what they created.
Creepy
they could have
Colonel
said,
Sanders.
Yeah,
why are we bringing back Colonel Sanders anyway? Somebody tell me why. The guy is, at least I thought he was dead.
He's been dead.
These guys look just like him. I remember the real Colonel Sanders.
We could all look like that if we have
Really? Yes. You could look like that?
Absolutely.
Oh, please. I'd like to see you try. For Halloween, you're going to be Colonel Sanders. I'm
going to be Colonel Sanders.
How's We're going to have a stand-up with Pat and Jodi Halloween
edition.
I'm
going to be Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
And I'm going to play the creepy Colonel Sanders, so I think that's funny. And I'm Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
I think that Jared guy's innocent.
He's finger-licking good.
He knows those kids are finger-licking good. Wait, that's a chicken. The chicken, I mean. That's how you
do the voice very well. For a Puerto Rican, you're okay. Oh, my God.
Because he did have that kind of squeaky, weird sort of, like he's done some illegal shit.
Oh, he's been smoking something in the basement.
Oh, my goodness.
He's been playing with the chickens.
Wow. It's like a guy like that, you kind of imagine he has some weird dungeon in his house, with people tied up and multiple animals and who knows.
Oh my God!
I just get that weird feeling from that first Colonel.
I'm thinking of popcorn. You said from that first Colonel. Pop. You could do that. That's funny. So as you know, Pat, next week I'm heading out to Atlantic City.
Atlantic City, AC, baby.
AC. I'm going along with one of my staff to open a brand new convention center.
Brand new.
In Atlantic City. And right now I'm kind of mad that I'm not going to be in Atlantic City for this weekend because Miss America is back in Atlantic City.
Miss America.
Do you remember who the guy was who hosted Miss America?
Who?
Here she comes, Miss. Or maybe here he comes, Miss America.
Here he comes, Miss.
That's
well,
Caitlin.
You can do that now, Caitlin. Yeah.
Here she is, Miss America. You don't know who? Bert Parks.
Bert Parks. That's right.
Bert Parks. Dead, by the way.
So I'm just wondering when we're going to have the first transgendered Miss America.
We should. I'm in. I mean, I'm not a transgender. I'm in.
I was about to say.
I'm transgender. Wow. Jodi Harris comes out. She's transgender. Wow. Hey.
You just really said
I really did. Now all things. I knew it. I can just see it now. I knew it. She's too tall to be a woman. She's too flat-chested. She's too small. She's too tall. You ever see the size of her hands? They're huge. And look at those feet. I'm telling you, she's a man, baby.
A man, baby.
No, I am not a man.
Boy, you set yourself up that one. I
You
didn't
know
even
the
have to
rumors
say
are going to go
anything.
right now.
I didn't even have to say
every
anything.
enemy of mine is going to be, she admitted it right there.
She's
at the
a
40-minute
man.
mark. Right there at the 40-minute mark. She admitted it. No, I am not a dude, okay?
Yeah. I can attest to that.
You should know.
I should know.
I could have had the operation, though.
No. I would be able. You'd be able to tell. Yeah.
No. Anyway, my point was that it's about time that we have a transgender in the Miss America pageant or any of those pageants.
Yeah.
Just saying. Why not? Why not?
And the way they do their makeup, they'll probably be the hottest one there.
Trust me, I could use some makeup lessons from that Caitlyn Jenner. Bring your ass down here, girl. Help me out. I could use it. Seriously, those. Well, you and I have been to the Frank Marino show where we see which is a great show, by the way. If you're in Vegas, you definitely go see Divas. It's really fun. You'll see Cher and
it's a
Tina
blast,
Turner
yeah.
and
It's a blast.
Dolly Parton and Liza Minnelli and all that fun stuff. And Joan Rivers. Because Frankie Marino dresses as Joan Rivers, and he's great. So go see that. But again, I think it's time. Why not? And coming back, and speaking of time, who would have ever thought we'd see this day happen? Vanessa Williams is coming back to the Miss America pageant as a judge.
Nice.
They barred that woman back in the 80s because of doing
porno.
that. It was light porno.
Lesbian.
She was touching another woman. I bought the magazine.
Sexy.
George Burns. Boy, am I really aging myself. George Burns and Vanessa Williams were on the cover of that Penthouse magazine. And if you don't believe me, Google it.
Google it.
Google it. Google it. It's on there. So what do you think about that, though? That's pretty. All is forgiven. It's 2015.
Cool.
All is forgiven.
Come on, the
except
stuff
for
that goes
Jimmy
on now
Snuka.
that's slight. Yeah,
Except
well,
for-
that's a
except
little
for
more.
Jimmy Snuka.
That's a little more serious. Murder is,
Yeah,
a little
murder
more
is,
serious.
hey.
They're looking over at Hulk Hogan now, going, well, that wasn't. Doesn't seem as bad.
And
now,
Hulk apologized, by the way, on
apologize.
GMA. For what? And that was, I didn't realize that he had made those remarks years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah, they get caught. They don't record it, and this his so-called.
I thought
buddy,
he did it recently.
His so-called buddy Mancow, who he had
Bubba
the Love Sponge, whatever, who he had bang his wife on video, was the one who set him all up for this stuff. So it already tells you right now. His wife was so enamored with Hulk that she wanted to bang him, and good old Bubba said, "Here you go, Hulk. Here's my wife."
Wow.
Take
my wife.
And they were the ones that recorded all this shit. And even one of the comments on the video was, "Here's our retirement fund."
Wow.
They knew they were going to pull this one of these days, and it's like, what a dick.
Wow.
What a dick move.
That is a totally douche. You got to be careful what you got to be careful what you post on your social media. You got to be careful what you say. That might be recorded. Like at the 40-minute mark on this show, it's going to come back and bite me on the ass. Trust me, I know.
Be like, "Hey, what the hell?"
I knew it.
I knew it.
I knew it. Like Dr. Bellows, I knew it.
Dr. Bellows.
Dr. Bellows. I knew it.
You
Richard
can still watch
Nelson.
that. You can still watch that on MeTV now.
Yeah, you can.
All thrashed.
I can see. Look at you. You're like
my hair's all
it's
wacky
like,
today.
I know. I'm hot in
the,
here. It's hot in the penthouse.
It's hot in the penthouse.
Okay, so Pat, it was only a matter of time before somebody actually fatally shoots himself while taking a selfie. I guess. Yeah. Did you heard about this story in Austin, Texas? And this is sad. A 19-year-old Texas man who was posing with a gun for social media selfie accidentally shot himself and died from the wounds. God.
Wounds, multiple?
Yes, wounds. A witness told police he was taking a selfie with a gun and the gun accidentally discharged.
First off, guns don't accidentally discharge. You pull the trigger. And if you're taking a selfie, if you are a responsible gun owner and you pull it out to do something like that, what's the first thing that you're supposed to do?
Check to see if you have any bullets in the gun.
And
right?
if there are some bullets in there, what are you supposed to do?
You take them out.
You take them out, yes. And then you make sure the safety is on if it has a safety. It's a pretty simple thing, but he just got to go, I'm going to grab the gun with safety off and I'm going to put my finger on the trigger. First of all, you never even put your finger on the trigger if you're not ready to fire. That's just kind of 101. So this wasn't,
He was pronounced dead at the scene by paramedics. He had shot himself in the upper body. So, so there you go. That's great. You want to have that selfie. Why,
And the problem is that the anti-gun people will take something like that and use that as ammunition, no pun intended, or pun intended, I guess. to try and get guns banned, and that because that's just one act of stupidity, and people do that with cars and with anything they can find. It's amazing what people manage to kill themselves with. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to stick my finger in this outlet.
What anybody will do to get that selfie. I mean, granted, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I'll admit it, but I'm not going to hold a loaded pistol to my head and take a selfie. Not that's stupid. But I mean, I was in New York and I took a picture of me with the train coming right behind me.
If you remember,
but I wasn't on the tracks.
If you remember, it must have been about 10 years ago or so that there was that actor, and I forget his name, that killed himself, accidentally killed himself because he took a prop gun with blanks. And put it to his head and pulled the trigger. It's like, they're blanks, but they're still a discharge that came out. Yeah, he killed himself. He died instantly.
That wasn't Brandon Lee, right?
No. Brandon Lee died because they didn't, in the big shootout scene at the end, in The Crow, apparently some live ammunition got in, and how this happens, I have no idea, because these sets are supposed to be really, really well watched after, especially with live ammunition. There's so many, even back then, there were so many steps you went through. How live ammunition got in with the blanks is just amazing to me. But but this one actor it's blanks, but if you put it, it's still sending out a charge out of the front of the gun. And if you're 10 feet away, you're going to be okay. You put that to your head, you're done. And that's what happened. It's just, you can't be stupid with things like that. You really can't. Because anything can kill you, but boy, something that's made to kill people, I guess you probably need to be a little extra careful with.
Yep. And I hope you're okay with this, but I think next time I see a hot police officer, I'm going to run up to them and hug them.
Oh, how sweet.
Yes, there was a woman in Colorado. She stopped by a Colorado police station because she was so upset about all the bad stuff that's going on with cops being shot, that she walked up to a cop and she gave him a hug. She stopped at the police station and she gave them a hug. I think that's nice.
That is nice.
If I see a hot New York City police officer on the way, hey, baby, here's a selfie. Take that.
But honestly, it's sad. In recent years, there's been a push towards demonizing police, and they're just out there trying to do a job. There's bad ones, just like there is in every field.
But there are a lot of good ones.
But there's the vast majority are good people who are just trying to do their jobs, and they're making it culturally okay to go out and shoot a cop or not listen to a cop. And to, when the cop tells you to do something, do it. You wonder why they say, oh, this cop shot you. Look, if you attack a police officer, expect to get shot. Let's just put it that way. Don't call yourself a victim because your kid or you or whoever was mouthing off to a cop and then attacked him and you got shot. Guess what? That's what happens. You don't attack a police officer. If you do that, you should get shot because you're an idiot. And if people want to call it racism and anything else, no, the police officer's doing exactly what they were trained to do. And you wouldn't even imagine people doing this 20 or 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
And the fact that it's just like it's okay to attack a police officer because you don't believe that he had the right to pull you over, or you don't think you were doing something wrong, even though half the time they were.
Well, remember here in that Walmart just a few months ago, maybe not even a year. It's coming up on a year, where those two cops were in the CC's Pizza, and a couple just walked in and executed them.
Those guys did nothing to them.
No, they just walked into a pizzeria to have lunch, and they were killed. And then just recently, last Saturday or Sunday, this weekend, I think it was Sunday, two officers here in Las Vegas were sitting at a traffic light, and a guy pulled up to them and shot one of the police officers just like that at a red light, at a traffic light. Yeah. That's just ridiculous. I got to be honest with you. When I see a police officer walking into one of the restaurants that we eat in, I get a little nervous. I'm kind of glad that they're sitting in the back, because I'm just afraid that some nut might see a police officer sitting at a restaurant that we go to, maybe sitting by a window, and just decide to shoot the place. Yeah. You just don't know. People are just insane. I mean, look what happened to those poor people on TV, the news reporters. That was terrible. The news reporter and then her cameraman being shot by some psycho ex-employee. You just never know. You just never know what kind of lunatics are out there. It's very, very sad. So, but anyway, before we head out, before we call it a day here at the show, we haven't talked about the Talking Dead, not the Talking Dead, the new Fear the Walking Dead show.
Fear the Walking Dead.
So I kind of saved it to the end because some people don't like the Talking Dead or the Walking Dead. But
Mike Walters.
So, we just had dinner with Mike Walter, by the way.
Mike Walter.
Mike Walter. We said it. We were going to go a whole show without mentioning his name, and we didn't.
But we just mentioned who doesn't like these. So, Mike, you can click off now.
Yeah, you don't miss anything.
With your content that, you're not interested in this. So. Although we may have lost him the moment we talked about Rock's puppies.
And Jimmy Superfly Snuka. No, we kept him on Rock's puppies because he's a big dog person.
Okay.
So anyway, what do you think of this whole new Fear the Walking Dead show? We're up to 2 episodes. We're going to go into episode number 3 now. Is it everything you thought it would be, Pat? Is it moving a little slow for you?
I don't know what I thought it would be. I mean, I guess I did, but it is doing. So far, we're starting to get little bits and pieces and learning how everything started. So I'm not expecting, and I think some of the people like the typical Walking Dead or that genre fans are going to be disappointed because there wasn't 100 people being eaten in each episode. But this is the outbreak. This is the beginnings. This is how things, would happen in a scenario like that, with all the people rioting and acting a fool because, not realizing what's going on. That these people
the police are killing real people.
Exactly.
So they're pissed at the police.
Yeah, they're pissed at the police. And why are they shooting these people that they've shot 8 times and are still coming at them?
They're okay. They're not dead. They're not dead. They're okay. They're still alive. They need help.
So it's kind of interesting how they're telling the story. They're already trying to build in some characters there and build a story around a couple of families, which is nice. And I think, like you said, we already found our Morgan, who's a young kid. That I think
Tobias.
If this lasts a couple seasons, I think Tobias will wind up showing up in a future episode. He's going to be I think he's going to have sort of the when they found Morgan in that town when he had all
he was clearing.
Yeah, clearing. But you're going to find that kid like that, but he's going to have solar power and computers and satellite uplinks and all that. He's going to be the techno geek. He'll
be like the dude in Z Nation.
In Z Nation,
you know that kid that was in that movie Road Trip?
Yes, exactly.
He's going to be like that kid.
Name. Yeah, he's going to be like that kid.
Yep. And Z Nation should be coming back soon.
It should be coming back.
I think they said it was coming back.
They just
coming back this weekend.
They just had some episodes of Z Nation on Sci-Fi, so there might be coming back on because I just saw it.
I could have sworn I read something that it was coming back in September. So I'm gonna type in Z Nation for me, and I'll tell you what I think of.
Why you type faster than I do?
Okay, I do. All right.
Yeah.
Z Nation, but I agree with the Tobias thing. I think that Z Nation. There we go. Z Nation coming.
Yeah, because there's no reason why they would have had him so prominent in the story if he was just going to be some kid. So obviously he's going to have some role in future episodes, and they're already giving us characters that we absolutely hate. The son who's the druggie who you're just like, okay,
September 11th.
September 11th. So that's coming up.
I think it's Saturday.
Saturday or Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Oh, cool. So we'll have some Z Nation to watch. It'll be pretty exciting.
We'll be able to talk about Z Nation. So it's interesting, though, looking at how some of the first people who were infected were drug users.
Yes.
Intravenous the drug users that were in that kind of like heroin layer that was an old church. Oh, yeah,
the church, yeah. And why the father would go to a the boyfriend to the mother's son. Yeah. You guys know if you watch the show. Why would anybody in their right mind go to a drug den at night? By yourself. At night.
Going, hey, where are you?
Are you here?
Really?
Hey, that didn't make any sense whatsoever.
There are already some of the things that are required for any kind of horror or fantasy type thing, which is dumb people.
And not telling the daughter who's looking out the window
at somebody being eaten what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on? Like, you can't help the next door neighbor, you're gonna die.
Yeah, just tell her what's going on. You've seen it firsthand.
Or why you left your boyfriend who's very, very sick in his bed at his house, and you're just going to get up and leave, like not telling her that he's going to die of what am I thinking? Fever. The fever's going to kill him, and he's going to
come back to life a zombie.
The Walking Dead. And what do you think they're going to call these? Now, on The Walking Dead, we called them They're called walkers.
But every group has a different name for them, so I don't know.
We don't know.
They don't even have a name for them yet in this yet, so they haven't given them a name. because we're not that far along yet. I think we're a couple of episodes. I honestly don't think that we're going to see. I think by the end of this, what is it, six?
We get 6 episodes, and then we go into The Walking Dead.
I think we're just going to start seeing the culture sort of, you know.
We're going to see the demise of.
I think we're still going to be at the point where civilization is still kind of holding on, and there's still some. But you're just starting to see things fail, and you're starting to see them figure out what's going on. I think it's like at the beginning of The Walking Dead, where you didn't know when Rick came out the first time, he had no idea what these things were. So they're going to have to learn. Right. They're going to have to learn, and the news is going to have to get out how you kill them, what's going on, and so on and so forth.
And Mom already knows how to kill them. I think she realizes that it's in the head that you have to hit them in the head. And I noticed that these zombies, when you hit them in their head, because they're fresh, it
takes more to take them down.
It takes a lot more to take them down. Yeah, they're not like pumpkin heads or not. Like you stab one. Yeah. These are hard. I mean, that woman was hitting that principal with the fire extinguisher a bunch of times. I don't know if a knife would have been any better, but
then again, she's probably not nearly as strong as a Rick or something like that. That was, you know, they're smashing people's skulls in with those things, you know. But it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah. But like I said, I think they have to build the storyline up. So, you can't just jump into, and I think some people just want to see gore. They can't just jump into death and destruction. They have to tell a story.
And we did see a zombie on the first episode.
Oh, we did, absolutely.
We saw the girlfriend.
We saw a couple of people be eaten, but, you know, there's still...
And that kid that kept coming, the drug dealer.
Oh, I know.
Hit him with the car a bunch of
and then he'd get up again, and he's like, holy smokes.
Yeah, they realized that, you know, a normal person would have been dead. And then the old man in the hospital on season 1, in the first episode.
And they rushed him out.
And they rushed him right out. So they knew stuff was happening.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting. We're really... If you have any opinions on the new show, Fear the Walking Dead, drop us a Facebook message. We're on Facebook, Staying Up with Pat and Jodi.
That's right. Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud, Twitter. So
we're
just
all
look
over
us
the place.
up. Just search us. You can Google it.
Google it.
So,
I guess I might miss you guys next week. Maybe
yes.
We'll see where we are. We might,
because you'll be in Atlantic City.
But I leave for Atlantic City on Wednesday night, so there's a possibility that we can do a show on Monday.
I'm gonna hang out with some of the boys.
I'm gonna go to the Irish pub.
How you doing?
Plug for the Irish pub on St. James Place.
I don't know if I like hanging out with those Irish.
The Irish, Michael.
You can't
I never wanted this for you.
You can't trust the Irish.
Ooh, don't let Malibu hear you said that.
Oh.
Don't let Malibu hear. By the way, Malibu is sitting in the audience right now at America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And she is sending me photos of her sitting behind Howie Mandel. Shout out to Malibu, who I'll see in a few days.
Yeah, and I wonder if she actually is going to like physically assault him or something. That would be fun.
No, she's super excited. Good for her.
I'd like to see her do something that gets her on the evening news.
I think Malibu should go back on America's Got Talent and reprise the role that she did so well in high school.
That's right.
Her plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. And then pop the balloon that was attached to the bottom of her ass.
Pop. I think that'd get her.
That would be great.
That would at least make the blooper reels.
and then also we can have Sharon sing Down Where the Nights Are Gay and the Boats. I took a trip on a sailing
This is
ship.
so inside.
This is so inside.
So inside.
But then, you know, this transgender was dressed as a duck. Oh, did I say that again? I'm only teasing. Again, no. Oh, my God.
But just make sure, folks, follow us,
sleep
subscribe,
with me. If you want to know the
like,
truth for
comment.
me, sleep with me.
Okay, sure. I already know the truth.
All right, I'm out. I'm done. I'm getting in trouble.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make
Goodbye,
sure to
Mike
like,
Walter, wherever you are.
Like, comment. Tell us how much you love it. Tell us what you want to hear the next time.
Yes, give us.
Tell us to go screw. That we're we're a bunch of lunatics, and we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
I do have to say that there were people that do listen to Staying Up and Pat and Jodi. When I was at the Las Vegas DJ show, I had a bunch of people who said, "Hey, congratulations on your weight loss, Pat. What are you down to?" Before we head out there, we're going to say goodbye. 275. And how much did you start? Would you lose? 305. Wow, there you go, folks. All right, that's a great way to end the show.
So I'm working on it.
Go have a sandwich.
Got to go down to 220. and I'll be happy.
Okay,
220.
Wow, 220. I'd be happy.
220. Yeah, 220.
Ooga. All right, rush right out of here and go get a peanut butter sandwich.
We'll see you next week with or without Jodi.
With or without.
You know what? We could do the show without her.
We don't need me.
Screw Jodi.
Screw Jodi. F Jodi.
F Jodi. We don't need her.
We don't need her.
No,
Goodbye.
we don't need Jodi. Get out of here. Woo! We don't need you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.